Good morning, YouTube. This is another video about commercial real estate collapse in the Dayton, Ohio area. This time in Fairborn, Beaver Creek area. So, Miller Valentine Gem, premier office space for lease. Well, if it was premier office space for lease, it wouldn't be for lease. It would have already been swallowed up. So let's just debunk that scam that it's premier office space for lease. And this is part 2 of this video of this series right here on commercial real estate collapse in this area. I did part 1 just to the west of me right there, and this is probably going to be the last one that I'm going to do for the day, as obviously video camera space is running out right here. I'm not sure how well this building on the left is doing, but I'm going to have a look. But I'm going to go over there and have a look at it right here and see how well it is doing. Their parking lot's about half full, so I'm going to see what they got. I believe I went by there before and I've seen a for lease space right there before. The shopping part of this little area appears to be doing fairly well. There's not a whole lot of vacancies right here, but you never know. The shopping center that's over here, I don't know if I'll be able to get to that on time because I'm running pretty low on battery camera, and I really wanted to get more of this commercial real estate collapse right here. It's in this area. Gonna see if there's a for lease sign in front of this ball. Aerospace and technology right here. And well, this one, no. But I know there has to be some others that are close by right here. So, you know, I would say probably half of this space is probably occupied, but there is some that is clearly not. And as I've clearly showed and have said, that the amount of this commercial real estate is just simply just far too high in this country. And it is, and people like me and Econ Cat 88 have proven that over and over again. Here's Holiday Inn. They've got around, I don't know, 15 cars out in front. So I don't even know how many are there inside of this hotel, but it's clearly not full. And got another hotel that's the Hilton. They're clearly not doing too hot here either. And Homewood Suites Hilton. So their parking lot here is pretty well, you know, empty in general right here. So neither of these hotels look like they're doing all that great in general right here. But yeah, here's one of the buildings for this Homewood Suites or whatever it's called by Hilton. That's not doing very well. Holiday Inn, well, there's not a whole lot of people here. It's Friday morning. So they can try and keep feeding these scams and this snake oil and all this fluff crap all that they want, but the reality is we know what the truth is. A few people going into the hotel right there. So probably not going to have this last too much longer because there's not a lot of the office space that's left right here. Curtis Wright. If there is any vacancies inside here, they're not showing it, obviously, from this. And here is this Homewood Suites right here. I don't know where the employees park at right here, but so this hotel might be doing so I don't really know. Of course, when many of these hotels do belly up, when these hotels do belly up, whenever that is, as people like EconCat 88 and me have said, there's very little you can do with buildings like this besides turn them into efficiency apartments for seniors or veterans or disabled people, that type of stuff in general. This section over here is probably doing a little bit better than some of the other areas right here, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna run this as long as I can right here, see what else I encounter. Might as well run this video as long as I can push it before it does run out of space. This Homewood Suites is actually a pretty good size hotel. Here's Hampton, and they look like they might be doing so right here. Hampton Inn, that is ran by the Marriott right here. Yep, Hampton Inn and Fairfield Inn by the Marriott. So you know, parts of this look like it's doing so and then parts of it aren't. You know, I'm gonna get ready to I'm gonna run this video as long as I can before I cut it, and then get ready to end it right here. But you can imagine, just by the looks of the parking lot here, that you're probably not gonna have too much trouble getting a room for rent. Now, here is a restaurant that is actually doing pretty well right here, Bob Evans. So they're doing pretty well in general. Their parking lot is full right here. Of course, if people need more space behind it to eat, they can always park right here. But this shopping center right here, it looks to be doing fairly good compared to a lot of others. FedEx office, Tropical Smoothie, Flying Pizza. That's like New York style pizza. They're pretty good. So if you guys are ever out here want some good New York Italian style pizza, go ahead and try out the Flying Pizza. So there's a positive plug. So anybody that wants to say there ain't some positivity to this, well, there you go. And one of the empty spaces I did see, well, looky what we have here. Colliers International, Jeet, India. And I've been pretty critical of Colliers International because they appear to have a lot of empty space over here. So the one empty space that I do see inside of here is by Colliers International, 2632. This used to be Jeet, India, which was a, you know, Indian style restaurant in general. Right here, they're closed. Threadworks, obviously a place that makes shirts and that type of stuff. Springleaf, London Made Personal. Mr. Kim's Barbershop. Looks like an Asian guy run it. Nothing wrong with that. It's a Subway right here. So this shopping center looks like it's doing pretty well. Oh, here we got another space by Colliers International. So there's two empty spaces that they have here. Oh, actually three, because this is clearly tarped off. It used to be someplace for fitness equipment to be sold. Right here. Not sure what this place is. First watch the Daytime Cafe, so probably a place to get coffee and where people can browse the internet, that type of stuff. Actually, there's 3 or 4 spaces empty over here. Prime Space, Colliers International, another scam. So there's 2 down that way, 3 down, there's 4. Colliers International is a failure. I see their space for lease all the time. Prime Space. Well, this shopping center is doing better than a lot that I've seen in the area, but you got to question the Prime Space here. There's another one right there. Prime Space right there. So when you see that, you got to question that, people, to a certain degree. Here's Texas Roadhouse. They're probably just getting ready to open up. Yeah, at 11 a.m. It's around 10:15, so it's going to be a little while before they open. Here's Bob Evans right here. I showed the other side. They were pretty full on the other side, but this is probably what I can assume is probably employee parking right here. Nutter Center across the street, but I'm not going to get too close and show that. That's where a lot of concerts and where Wright State University and men's basketball plays their games at. So you see a little bit of the moon is still left. Looks like about 70% full. You may not be able to see it from here. So Bob Evans looks like it's doing fairly decent right here from what I can tell. But so this stretch of that's closer to Fairfield Road probably was fared a little bit better than the area that's down by Home Depot when it came to the commercial space in general. You had 4 vacancies inside this shopping center right here. This Bob Evans, it's doing, but from what I can see, that's doing pretty well. From what I can see of it, in general. Taco Bell, well, they look like they might be opening. It's around 10:15 right now on a Friday morning. So I'm going to walk a little bit further down the street. You know, I'm going to get ready to cut this one. Here. Then I'm off to upload this footage at the Wright State Library. So parts of this are doing so. It definitely does not. I'll say parts of this is probably I'll say a C right here. Oh, in this building down here at the end right here, I see a Miller Valentine office space for lease. So the office space over here is really mediocre at best in this area. Some of the stores, the shopping center right here looks like it's doing fairly well. 4 empty out of probably 15 or 20. Here's Colonel Glenn Highway or Road. They are working on repaving that right now, and they're going to be on this for a while. I just hope that once it's done, it finally will last for a while. But I read a report the other day said that there's going to be, that we're in trouble for another bad winter. Both Farmer's Almanac and AccuWeather are predicting that, and And if that is the case, our roads are just going to be a complete catastrophe this coming winter, because our roads are already in pretty bad shape right now as they are. I'm going to walk down to this sign where it says Miller Valentine Group in front of this office space building. Then I'm going to get ready to cut this one right here. See this sign right here that says the Ohio Public Works Commission. So I am not exactly so Colonel Glenn Highway Improvements. Oh, okay. So the city of Fairborn is behind this right here. City of Fairborn, $1.39 million they are spending to repave this road right here, and I hope it actually holds up, but there's a sign of it right there. But I don't know how long it's going to hold up, because they just use cheap material like asphalt, and the asphalt just does not hold up very well to salt in the winter time. It eats away. They would be better off to use concrete. They would be better off to use concrete here. And this shopping center right here looks like it's so right here. Thai Express, a college store. I may just go over there and just show a brief little bit of that, but obviously my battery is getting ready to cut out here anytime, and I've already showed this from behind. But Premier Office Space for the Steve Peters, mvgem.com. So if it's Premier Office Space for lease, I'm not going to really show over there. I've already showed from the other side of that. So if this was Premier Office Space for lease right here, here we go right here. Wright Executive Center, Miller Valentine Gem right here. Ball Aerospace and Technologies. They had another building over here too, Ball Aerospace and Technology. I am not sure how much of this is empty in general, but it just goes to prove that there are limits no matter what the economy is like, as far as how much business space can actually be used right here. Ball Aerospace and Technology right here. And you guys might be able to see the moon from right there as it's fading away in the west. Surprisingly, it still is up right here, but here's the other side of the parking lot, so I'm not exactly sure how much of this is actually empty right here, but there has to be some of it, because it did say Premier Office Space for lease. Well, if it was Premier Office Space for lease, it would not be vacant. Well, that's it for this one, YouTube. Signing off.